If there's one genre of video games that's really exploded over the course of the 8th generation of consoles, it's the open world. Popularised by the likes of GTA, taking your franchise out into the open isn't as big an innovation as it used to be, with big names like Metal Gear Solid, Ghost Recon and Mafia all going down the well-trodden route, but with some mixed results. That said, there are plenty of the best open world games for you to dive right into. With everyone, and also your nan, getting in on the act, it's time to take a look at some of the best open world games around right now, whether they belong to this generation, the last, or even further back than that. A couple of qualifiers before we start. We are only including one game per franchise for the sake of variety, and we're also excluding early access games because there are 9 million of them that just dump you into a bland expanse with only a stick and you're flapping bits for comfort. Disagree with our choices for the best open world games? Well, you can go ahead and let us know down in the comments below, but it will not reach us unless you climb several radio towers first. Starting off at number 10, it's Far Cry 3. A case of making gameplay a bit more casual for the better, Far Cry 3 is everything you could want for an open world FPS. Even if it did help to popularise the dreaded radio towers. Ugh. What made Far Cry 3 so different from its peers, however, was that the Rook Islands were ones you wanted to explore every inch of and kill everything in. Crafting a memorable world with tight gunplay is one thing, but it's another thing to make the story worth caring about. The affable villainy of ours picks up the slack left by the serviceable Jason as the protagonist to spin an exotic yarn that's also hypnotic, and also has a weird and booby ending depending on the choice you make. It's a shame that its final third sags just a little bit, but it's still better than almost all of its imitators. Far Cry 3 threw down a gauntlet that the rest of the franchise following it has yet to really match. Coming in at number 9, it's Bully. A sequel has been long in the offing for this Rockstar classic, but the original Bully actually holds up really damn well still, rough edges and all. An open world game that's small but packed with things to do, playing Bully compared to many of its modern peers is pretty damning for the contemporary fare, which tends to favour scale over substance. That's not the case with Bully. Bulworth Academy and its surrounding areas are teeming with things to see and do, including minigames and causing general anarchy. While playing as Jimmy Hopkins, the pug-faced protagonist who looks a little bit like Wayne Rooney, you can swerve school altogether and do odd jobs and missions, or go to classes and become a teacher's pet. There's a lot of freedom in Bully, ironic considering how often education is likened to imprisonment. Also, the cultured of you guys out there will probably hear a familiar song playing in the background right now. And coming in at number 8, perhaps controversially, is Grand Theft Auto 5. Here's where we enter the crunch time for our list of the best open world games. Some may balk at GTA 5 finding itself so relatively low, but there really isn't a lot in it. Everything beyond this point is as close to perfect as a game can get, but if there's anything to knock GTA 5 down on, it's that it's so successful with its questionable shark cards that it made Rockstar complacent. If we're talking just single player, however, GTA 5 offers one of the best playgrounds around and 3 brilliant protagonists to boot. Trevor, Michael and Franklin are some of the most likeable arseholes in all of gaming, particularly Trevor, the very rowdy Canadian. GTA 5 didn't massively reinvent the wheel for the franchise, but it brought many people back aboard after the macabre GTA 4. Don't expect to see GTA 6 for a long time though, they're going to ride that microtransaction train as far as they can. Coming in at number 7, Horizon Zero Dawn. Still a terrible name. When Horizon Zero Dawn was first announced, it was something of a curiosity that nobody was sure of and how it would work. Robot animals, tribes, a post-apocalypse, a weird name. When it launched in 2017, nobody was expecting it to be as great as it was, adding another string to Sony's impressive PS4 exclusive bow, before many years later being revealed to also be coming to PC and causing a few meltdowns. Featuring some of the best visuals of this generation and a gigantic world that's stacked with weird and wonderful creations to hunt, Horizon is an unusual blend of different ideas and themes that could have gone so wrong, but the guys at Guerrilla delivered in spades. There's something so peaceful and jaw-dropping about climbing your first tall neck and gazing at the land before you. It's just one of those experiences that you just want to bottle and keep forever. If you want something a little bit chillier, its Frozen Wilds DLC is also worth checking out. Entering at number 6, Marvel's Spider-Man. While it's true that Marvel's Spider-Man may not boast the biggest playground of all of the best open world games listed here, it certainly comes up trumps for the way that you traverse its world. Swinging around Manhattan as Spider-Man is so smooth and simple that you could probably do it for hours as a form of meditation. I know I did as I cruised towards its platinum. As much as we adore Spider-Man 2 on the PS2, this version is just the evolution of that. As one of the best superhero games around as well, its world is also stacked with things to see and do. Sure, it's littered with checklists of collectibles, but the way in which they are presented means that they are nowhere near as mundane as found in other open world games. With 40 plus hours of gameplay all yours to enjoy, it's time to become a swinger. Wait, not like that, okay? Not like that. Number 5, it's Skyrim. You've probably heard of it. Jokes about it being ported to the Gizmodo aside, +1 in the comments if you remember that, Skyrim has found a home on so many platforms for one simple reason: it's bloody brilliant. Also, Bethesda like money, but if you have a golden goose as shiny as Skyrim, why not make the most of it? It may be turning 10 years old fairly soon. My God, I can't believe that. But that doesn't stop it from being just as fun and immersive as when it first launched. You play as the Dragonborn, a person fated with the future of the lands in his hands, or hers, but don't worry about that. Once you've taken a wife and transformed into a werewolf, all of that kind of fades into the background, just pfft. Some of its naysayers think that it is a bit on the casual side, though that's exactly why it's so easy to pick up and play, and why so many still do. There are 18,000 people playing it on Steam in 2020 as we write this. That's many times more than Battleborn ever had. Number 4, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild isn't an open world game that will hold your hand. Its tutorial era is one of the toughest introductions you're ever likely to receive. This lack of guidance also plays into its theme of exploration, which actually works in the game's favour. You're never quite sure what strange gameplay nuance you're going to find next, or what lies at the top of the game's many mountainous ranges. You can scale almost any height you find in Breath of the Wild and then glide down again, eager to explore the next nook and investigate the nearest cranny. It's the franchise's most expansive and experimental game to date, though its weapon degradation and weak story knock it down a little bit. Aside from those quibbles, if you want almost complete freedom from your open world games with plenty of stuff to do, and a title that just keeps evolving the more you play, Breath of the Wild is simply a must. And hey, it's even on the Wii U. Yes, the Wii U happened. Yeah, it wasn't a bad and sad dream after all. Entering the top 3, we have Fallout New Vegas. It seems to be that the older New Vegas becomes, the more fans it makes, especially after Fallout 4 seemed to too liberally take the RP out of RPG. Seen by many as the best of the new bunch of Fallout games, New Vegas promotes freedom of choice, which includes the choice to totally neglect the storyline and venture off into the many side distractions, which includes picking up a little tiny gambling problem. If you've somehow never played New Vegas, you're missing out on some of the best writing and quest design in RPG history, with one quest featuring a presidential assassination almost impossible to shake for many over the years. Just like Skyrim, the community for New Vegas remains strong, and even though it comes with patented Bethesda glitches out the wazoo because Bethesda wanted Obsidian to make it in like 5 minutes, there's a mod to tidy that up and so much more. Just missing the top spot at number 2, Red Dead Redemption. The follow-up to a game that wasn't anyone's favourite, Red Dead Redemption is one of the most revered games of all time, arguably even more beloved than any entry in the GTA series. It's easy to see why once you climb atop your mountain and start exploring the crumbling era of the Wild West as a more civilized society starts to form in the US. You play as John Marston, a lovely man with lovely scars, who's an outlaw looking for redemption from his past life by turning on those who made him notorious. It's Rockstar's most effective and heartfelt narrative to date. You shouldn't like Marston, but his simplicity and understated guilt makes him one of gaming's most affable protagonists. A lot of players probably didn't realise that, however, as they were probably too busy trying to make all of the bears in America extinct, or playing poker on the Mexican border. I love this game. All this being said, we can totally live with it if you want to swap this for the second game. They're both masterpieces. And number 1, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. A game so incredible that even Jack Thompson probably has several copies, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was a massive gamble from CD Projekt Red. That's how you say it, right? CD Projekt Red. Weird, isn't it? Earlier games in the series were restrictive in scale, so with them letting loose with Wild Hunt and embracing the open world, there were no guarantees that they could deliver. Luckily for almost anyone who's played The Witcher 3, they knocked it out of the park. Even those who had never played the previous games were jumping on Wild Hunt and struggling to jump off. Geralt's last ride features tight and rewarding combat and some gorgeous surroundings, but the main attraction is the questing, which is some of the best and most fleshed out we will find in any game, let alone one on such a grand scale. The success of The Witcher 3 has resulted in CD Projekt Red being hailed as the saviours of the industry. That's so hard to say, CD Projekt Red. It's a bit hyperbolic, but the goodwill they've amassed speaks volumes for what a special game The Witcher 3 is. If you haven't played it yet, stock up on grilled chicken sandwiches and dive right in. So there you have it, those are our picks for the best open world games. Now I know what you're thinking, where's Assassin's Creed, huh? Well, we can only fit so much in and these are just our favourites. Be sure to let us know what your favourites are, eh? There's that engagement down in the comments below, and be sure to also like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and yeah, stay cool. That's the best I can come up with.